In the morning when I rise, give me Jesus.
Good morning. We're still talking about Joseph as we're in Genesis chapters 46 through 48 today. And you remember Joseph finally broke down and told his brothers who he was, that he was the brother that they sold into slavery, over 10 years prior. And when he broke down, he wailed so loudly that everybody heard him. And it got back to Pharaoh, and Pharaoh got involved and said, look, take wagons back that you could bring your father and all the little ones. We'll give them the most valuable property here in Egypt, and they can just stay with us, and that way they can have food throughout this whole famine. Well, the brothers went back and told all this to their father, and oh my goodness, their father was beside himself with joy because Joseph, the son of Rachel, his favorite, the one that Jacob gave the coat of many colors to, is still alive. And he said, I will go down with you. And so they loaded up the whole family and they went to Egypt to stay in the land of Goshen, which was the most fruitful land in Egypt. Well, when they got there, they told everybody that they were sheep herders because the Egyptian people didn't like sheep herders. That helped to keep the nation of Israel separate from the nation of Egypt. So Joseph brought Jacob to be introduced to Pharaoh, and Pharaoh said to Jacob, how old are you? So let me show you that in chapter 47. It's verses 8 and 9, and they say this. Pharaoh said to Jacob, how many years have you lived? So Jacob said to Pharaoh, the years of my sojourning are 130. Few and unpleasant have been the years of my life. Well, one of the things he's saying is, my ancestors lived longer than I have, but they were unpleasant years for Jacob because Jacob was a scoundrel. Jacob was rebellious. Jacob was deceptive. Jacob was wrong towards his brother Esau. There were so many things in Jacob's life that were contrary to God. And so Jacob's life, Jacob said himself, was unpleasant. Well, the famine went on. And all the people in Egypt and even some from Canaan came. And they bought as much food as they could until their money ran out. Then they started trading their flocks for food. And when the flocks were all gone, they started trading their land in exchange for food. And then they came to Joseph and they said, we are just desperate for food. Give us seeds and we'll plant. So Joseph gave seeds, and 1/5 of what was produced was to be returned to Pharaoh. I just find it interesting that 20% was the tithe to Pharaoh, and God's tithe, when Melchizedek came to Abraham to celebrate Abraham's victory, the tithe then was 10% to God. Well, Jacob was about to die. And so he calls in Joseph, and he says to Joseph this. It's in Genesis 48, verses 5 and 6. Now, your 2 sons, Jacob says to Joseph, who were born to you in the land of Egypt before I came to you in Egypt, they are mine. Ephraim and Manasseh shall be mine, but your offspring that have been born after them shall be yours. We'll see the significance of that later on in the scriptures. And it's interesting, Jacob blesses Manasseh and Ephraim. And just like Jacob, the younger of Jacob and Esau, took the greater blessing. So Jacob blesses Ephraim and Manasseh, and in the same way blesses the younger one with a greater blessing than the older. I'll also say that it's interesting to see in chapter 48, verse 16, as Jacob was blessing Joseph, He says this, the angel who has redeemed me from all evil. Bless the lads, and may my name live in them. This blessing is that God who redeemed him from all evil. Well, that's exactly what Jesus did. He came and redeemed us from all our evil. Oh, we see Jesus so often in the Old Testament. We'll finish up with the conversation about Joseph when we get together tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll be in Genesis chapters 49 and 50. I look forward to being with you. God bless you in your day today.
Give me Jesus. Give me Jesus. You can have all this world, but give me Jesus.